Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for this segment, we have Antti Vihavainen. He's the CEO of Puro.earth, to the carbon removal standard and marketplace that Nasdaq invested in earlier this year to offer its corporate clients a way to act on their climate and ESG goals. Antti, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Thank you, Jill. It's a pleasure to be here.
What is carbon removal and what is Puro.earth's role in that space?
Well, there's already too much CO2 in the atmosphere, and there are ways of removing it from there. It's just that the business model has been missing to make it actually happen. So that's why we set up Puro.earth as the world's first B2B marketplace and a standard and a registry that focuses solely on carbon removal, as opposed to, say, traditional carbon offsets that are another alternative in this field. But our intention is to provide carbon removal as a service by first identifying processes that are carbon net negative, and then create methodologies based on that. It's basically a document that describes the requirements for running this sort of an operation. And then together with a independent third party, the processes are verified, and based on that we can issue certificates for these suppliers of negative emissions. And then they can trade with them. That's the marketplace where companies such as Nasdaq, who is also our customer, can neutralize their emissions that cannot be otherwise reduced.
You're focusing on engineered carbon removal. How is that different from nature-based solutions?
Well, nature-based solutions are typically like afforestation. The idea is that you grow a forest, and at the same time it captures and stores the CO2 for as long as it does. Whereas in engineered carbon removal, such as biochar, there are three distinct steps. First of all, when the biomass is growing, such as trees, it is capturing the CO2, but then it is stabilized into a stable form of carbon, which is basically this biochar. And then that is stored underground in the soil for thousands of years. It will remain there locked away from the circulation. But there are others as well. We are a multi-methodology marketplace. So at the moment we have 5 methodologies. One of them is geologic sequestration, where you inject CO2 back to where fossil fuels came from, and there are plenty of others as well.
Nasdaq acquired a majority stake in Puro.earth. How is that partnership enabling corporate climate action for the world to reach net zero carbon emissions?
Well, of course, Nasdaq knows a thing or two about marketplaces, and as there's a huge demand for net zero pledges and therefore negative emissions, it is a great help for us to work together with them to actually reduce the CO2 concentration in the atmosphere. So we assist corporations and we also enable them to invest in beforehand, the same way as in the past decades the renewable industry was sort of started with these long-term offtake agreements. We offer that same opportunity for corporate customers to catalyze the birth of a completely new carbon net negative industry.
And finally, how can a company who wants to neutralize its emissions by carbon removal from Puro.earth?
Well, I would very much invite everybody to visit Puro.earth and check out, if there's, for example, you can go just to buy corks section where you'll see the available projects. And, if there are any questions, I encourage everybody to reach out to contact@Puro.earth via email.
All right, Antti, we appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Thank you.